So my name is Mical Teja. I started in Soca at a very young age, like around 13. And I started off writing for a lot of the popular artists like Destra Garcia and Blacks. And eventually, just fell in love with it. I always had a passion for music, and here I am, almost more than a decade actually, more than a decade later. How I feel tired most of the time with the journey, but very fulfilling. Creating a song and then seeing how much it affects people and their everyday lives, to me, is definitely an amazing thing. One of the things I love about my job is the connection to people and being able to influence someone's day or someone's moment. So, yeah. I would describe my style as modern calypso-esque. And it really developed because, I grew up around more older folks, and I grew up in Gonzales. This is in between Belmont and Laventille, so I grew up really in the heart of it all. So I was always exposed to culture from a very young age, like almost 8 and 9, and I'm there in the mass camp, helping, making the little small pans and carnival costumes. So I was always kind of in the culture. And I think that definitely, affected my style in terms of always paying homage to what was before and not trying to reinvent the wheel. I think what we have is real amazing, and it's just to, hone it and develop it. Oh man, major music influences. I have a lot, to be honest. Of course, the Sparrows, the Kitcheners, the David Brothers. But of course, people like Kerwin Dubois, the Marshalls, the Destras. But to me, I don't always limit my inspiration from just music. Like, I'm big on stand-up comedy and film, and there's so much different things that I borrow from as inspiration, My breakout year, in my opinion, would be, I would say 2019, when I had a song called Birthday and Bumper Mode. I wasn't full on, you're on the scene, but I would have been performing a lot of places, but then COVID would have come and just stalled everything. And then I had to kind of go back in that zone and figure out what happened. But I would definitely say 2019, 2020, around that. My biggest hit so far, definitely, to be honest, DNA, man. The process for that would have been, honestly, the year before I was traveling a bit, and very back and forth Trinidad. So Trinidad to the States, to here, to there. And every time we come back home and I reach in the airport, I'll be like, yeah boy, no place like home. It was like a kind of joke. Because, when we go out there, we get homesick so much now. And that song really came out of that. But also, while on the road the year before, I had the line on Mokrapa Road. I was just saying yo, look at all these people. They feel like an ocean of love now. And it's just a blend of both of those two things. And, here we are today, DNA. So, how I grew up with a very broad back, as we say in Trinidad. So while there is always the, we pray for success, but we don't pray for the things that come with success. There's always going to be somebody who, think that it shouldn't be you. There's always going to be somebody who may not like your music. And, even when I had DNA and, it was going up for the road march, there were a lot of, well, not a lot, very few people who didn't feel like a groovy song should win road match, you know what I mean? And that's part of it. There's always going to be somebody that don't like what you like, that don't like what you're doing. And that was one of the challenges that I face. But to me, again, how I grew up to embrace it, and it is what it is. You don't have to like it. Winning that road match has definitely changed my life. I think, one, I think people are more aware of who I am now, one. And two, we've been all over the world. I've been in some places where, soca is very, very few, but they know DNA. They know no place like home. So I think that winning that road match has definitely put me in a place where I was able to see places that, you know, I don't think I'd ever dream of seeing. So I stay consistent by just being consistent, showing up. Again, I grew up with a lot of strong independent women, my granny, my mom. So I grew up with seeing hard work and seeing what hard work does for you. So for me, it has always been putting in the hard work. Road march, hit song or not, regardless if the crowd isn't applauding, if the crowd isn't jumping, I'm going to give my all. I just, you know, I mean, part of who I am. So what's next? What's next for me is really and truly just keep pushing the envelope. And right now I've been developing my own event called Master Experience, where I where I really curate culture, because I think that's something I'm really missing in our space. Like, culture isn't just jumping and waving. Culture is explaining why we jump and wave, and that's what's next for me, is really just how do we, you know, develop the culture a little bit more and highlight the why, not the how. Well, I mean, yeah, one in English. But my writing style really developed because when I was growing up, I mean, the conversation now is, you know, we want power and we want to jump and we want to fet and rave and da. But when I was growing up and coming up as a songwriter in Soca, a lot of the, how to put it, a lot of the public opinion was Soca lacks depth. And, you know, it's only jump and wave. We need more topics that could appeal to us year round. And here we are, you know, we have topics year round and people still complaining, you know what I mean? But that's really how I was able to develop my writing style. I came up writing soca music at a time where it was heavily based on just jump and wave. And as a songwriter in those times, we really had to figure out how do we broaden the topics, how do we come out of just carnival and have songs that could exist in carnival but also exist year round. Like No Place Like Home is a year round sound. Lorraine is Runaway is a year round thing. I could have a Runaway this weekend. Tabanca, I could have a Tabanca any day. On the last train to San Fernando, I could go to San Fernando any day. You know, but it still exists within the carnival space. So I define success very personal. Success is not what people tell you. Success is what you feel inside. So, you know, for me, success has always been personal growth, knowing, okay, I think I've developed more as a songwriter. I think I've developed more on stage. Like, those are success for me. And my advice to any young person out there who, not just music, but in anything you're doing, you know, I implore you to don't look for the overnight. Anything that comes fast, leaves fast. It took me almost a little more over 10 years to even get a breakout. You know, I've been writing since the age of 13, 14, and here I am at like 24, 25 now, getting that break now. But over the years, because I would have been able to develop a skill set and get to understand how things run, you know, once I get the torch, yeah, I never look back. You know, I was able to kind of hold it, you know. My advice is don't listen to anybody, especially people who have especially people who are nowhere near where you want to be. Don't listen to them. Follow your heart, follow your vibes, and just work hard. And again, do not listen to people who are nowhere near where you want to be. All right. Hey, yo, this is Mical, Teja, and I feel like a running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Waving all my friends and them. No place like home. Hello from the capital. Deep down in the heart of the carnival. There's no better place, I cannot erase all these memories we create out of love. Bless.